This Save Harry and Meghan's very demanding and difficult so far podcast. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thanks for joining me today. We're outside a wonderful place today. If you ever get a chance, as I often say, to come to London, do look up these places. This is St James's Palace, of course. Now, St James's Palace has been a royal residence for many years. Wonderful place. You do kind of get the sense of history when you come past here. And I've been lucky enough to go inside as well. Parts of it are so old, you kind of think, wow, you know, this definitely feels like a place where it would be kind of good for a haunted look round, you know what I'm saying? You never truly feel alone. And there's still lots and lots of activity going on in St James's Palace, including investitures, which of course were recently performed by the Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. But back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. Now, as we know, Harry and Meghan have been struggling with that Spotify deal. I mean, when you think about it, they took the money, they thought they could make a Spotify sort of podcast very simply. And I don't really understand the problem, you know? I mean, I'm not technical at all, but even I could struggle through that. Obviously, the topic has to be something that's engaging and people want to listen to, and I think that could be the bigger problem. As we told you recently on the show, Harry and Meghan have been trying to secure some big name guests. That doesn't always work out because there are only so many big names you can call upon, and people do get tired of hearing the same people. They really want content that stimulates and gets people talking, you know. As I told you before, they'd probably do better to do some sort of behind the scenes info about what goes on the Trooping of the Colour or something a bit like that. You know, people like inside stuff. It doesn't have to be salacious or gossipy, just factual. But now there could be a saviour on the horizon, and let me explain the reasons why. As we know, legends like Neil Young, Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills and Nash have decided that they now don't want their, well, music on Spotify anymore because they're upset about this particular guy, Joe Rogan. Now, he is very popular on the platform and makes a lot of money for Spotify and, more importantly, for himself. But guess what? According to a very good source, it now looks like Joe Rogan could offer some tips and advice to the struggling royals. In fact, so much so that according to that good source, he's planning to offer them a slot on his own show to show them exactly how things could operate. Now, I know this is a very clever piece of PR by the team around Joe Rogan, but, you know, let's not forget he has made some success of this. In fact, a phenomenal success. And Harry and Meghan could do worse than actually even having a meeting with him to say, well, what are the elements that make yours so successful? Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because so far they've just put out a statement from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, basically stating that, you know, they're going to stick with it for now, but they'll be keeping a close eye on things. I think the close eye could be on the mega check, of course, that they got originally from Spotify, and there's no more checks until they come up with some product. So for now, could Harry and Meghan at least relent and think, well, perhaps they could bridge the gap between all of the negativity against Mr. Rogan and, more importantly, the negativity against them? And who knows, together they may finally land a very successful podcast. As ever, as soon as I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.